Hello there, it's Jessie here. Welcome to the channel. Big up new subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, take a seat. If you're coming back, you know I love you. And if you are completely new, there is a reason. And we must find out why. No, actually, no. We don't need to know why. We don't need to know why, guys. I'm letting go. I have got such an update for you guys today. Even like I made a video last night updating y'all on my most recent insights, and it was 45 bloody minutes, and it just won't let me upload it. Memory, blah blah blah, all this stuff. So I think I'm gonna take it as a sign. I need to redo the video, maybe a bit shorter, but it's very important for me. I've got such an impulse to share with you my insights. So that's what we're going to do today. Can you hear me flipping the pages and the pages and the pages? Okay, so it all began with a dream. And if you interpret dreams, I'm very open to your interpretation. So I was having a conversation with a woman who I highly admire. She's like a guiding light for me. She's absolutely full of integrity and wisdom and love, and is just like making waves in the world right now. And I will be her student soon, which I'm very excited about. And it's begun. So we were in our dream, in my dream. I don't know. Who owns dreams? And we're having a conversation. She goes, "Let me show you something," and winks. And then before I know it, I'm in a home. Now, I don't recognize this home, but in the dream, it was like, I absolutely know this home. Okay, it was so familiar to me, and it was like I hadn't been there, and it had been abandoned for like hundreds of years. So it was very mixed feelings in the it was this homecoming, so it felt so good to be reunited with it, but also very sad, because it was almost like everything I remember about the home, like the warmth, the love, the family, it was abandoned. It was completely empty. And I woke up very much in these feelings. Now, my interpretation is it's abandoning myself, my own home. But open to interpretation if you want to share. So I wake up, it's 4 a.m. and I'm wide awake, and I think, okay, I've got work. I should try and get back to sleep. So I decided to put on a little talk on YouTube by Adiyashanti. Now, he's wonderful spiritual teacher. He's very down to earth. I really appreciate his teachings. Very gentle, very clear. I don't know, it speaks to me. Haven't listened to him for years, but it popped in my head. So I put it on, and he's talking about, why we like meditation. And he says, when you first start, just to quieten the mind, you just shift your focus to the breath. And I thought, okay, let's try it. Maybe, yeah. So I shifted my focus to my breath, and it went straight into my heart and absolutely cracked open this sorrow, but like sorrow that I feel like I've been carrying for hundreds of years. That's what it felt like. It was heavy, and it was beautiful, because it was 4 a.m. and, they say that's the best time to meditate, because the energies are energy. I don't know how to finish that sentence, so let's pretend I didn't say it. So I'm feeling into the sorrow, and like I'm crying, but it's not like woe is me crying. It was just like streams and streams. And as I said before in another video, like tears clean the emotional channels. It's like going to the toilet for your emotions. It's just like open the tap, and it was just streaming out of me, and I was being so gentle with myself and just letting it. And then it was like insight after insight after insight. Like this whole process went on for about 4 hours. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, no, till 10, 6 hours. I was in this process of like releasing. I was retching. I took a bath, crying a lot, and writing down all my insights, which I'm going to share with you today. Now, these were extremely profound for me. If they're not for you, that's totally fine. This is where I'm at. So I'm going to share it. Perhaps it is what you need to hear right now. Perhaps not. All right? We're all on our journey. We're all on our journey at different stages, and there's no comparison, and there's no competition, and there's no judgment. It doesn't matter how old you are and where you're at. None of that matters, honestly, at least in my opinion. So, I've realised that I have been holding on to an awful amount of pain and sorrow, and it's so interesting because I think I've been holding on to it almost as a way to justify my values. Because I thought somehow if I release all of this, it's a disservice. It's almost as if the acts which caused my pain weren't that bad. Like if I let go and forgive, it's like, well then somehow I'm justifying those acts, or like allowing them. So my resistance to release was a way to say, no, I don't accept it. And wow, was I holding myself back with that belief? So I realised I needed to let go of all the pain and sadness that I carry with me. And it took me to like my parents actually, and like generational trauma, and clearing the bloodline. And I thought, I just had so much compassion for my parents because they're from a different generation, obviously. But their generation was much more like, get on with it. It's particularly in the country where I'm from, like stiff upper lip, keep calm and carry on. You know what I mean? Like you just bloody got on with it. And their circumstances in childhood were, I don't know so much about my dad, but I know his mum committed suicide when he was 11. So that can't have been easy, And then my mum had a shit show of a time. And the amount of love, like the amount that they had let go of and didn't pass on is phenomenal. So I'm eternally grateful for all they did. Yeah, it wasn't everything, right? So they just passed the baton. And if you're wondering why I'm saying it like that, it's because I worked at a summer camp quite a few years, and there was this big Hungarian guy, and he'd go, pass the baton. So shout out. So I say it like that now. So they just passed the baton. It was just like, I've cleared as much as I can, and I'm tired. Can you do the rest? And it feels like a real honor to be able to do that. It's like, rather than like resist or blame or no, I'm just like, yeah, sure, let's keep on clearing. Let's keep on healing. Let's keep on undoing and deprogramming, and, let's go that way. I'm very committed to this. So thank you very much to my parents for all that you did, and I will take it from here. And nature's fully supporting us in doing this at the moment. Absolutely. Like when I was sat outside, the birds were singing to my heart, guys. It was like, my heart was open. So it was easy for them to get in. But my goodness, I felt so held by this earth and by nature. And nature is love, I think. Like the way that nature moves, like what's behind it, what's the juice that gets it to go is love, I think. It's just, and what an intelligence of nature. Like the flower knows when to bloom, the trees know when to drop their leaves. Like there is a beautiful intelligence in nature, and I think we can really utilize that because it's in us too. We're also nature. Like that's also what's everything that's operating out there is operating in here, and I just want to attune myself more to that way of being, because it does it all for you. Basically, just have to sit back and just shut up. So what came next? Yeah, just realizing that like life is very, very brief and temporary, and even though like all of my sorrow and my pain is very real, it's only real within this realm. Maybe I don't know that for sure actually, because something made me doubt that. So I don't know. I'm not an expert on the matter. It's always just my sensings and my feelings that I'm sharing. But I feel, I've always thought this, like when we die, like, and when I'm in my most painful moments, I'm like, don't worry, Jessie, you're going to die one day and it'll all be over. This will end. And it brings me a lot of comfort, that, because I don't think when we die that, I think Jessie dies, I think this body decomposes, but I think there's an aspect, soul, consciousness that goes on. And you know, I've watched so many people talk about near-death experiences or when they die and come back, and you know, there's for me is a lot of anecdotal evidence that it's not the end. It's just the end of this bloody character and this story, and that brought me a lot of relief. As well, you know, it's like okay, so it's like watching a movie. Like, this is just the sad part. And I like the sad parts of movies, so why don't I like the sad parts of my life? And actually, I kind of do now. I've totally changed my relationship with sadness and sorrow, and because it's always joy on the other side. You know, I think, like, you know when to stop crying when you're laughing again. Beep. That's when you know. Yeah, so okay, so I was really like moving into this. Okay, so we die and we sort of go back to a realm where it's like where it's like pure love. And it's like on this planet, at least until now, I have definitely not experienced love all the time. Oh no. And I've found that very difficult. And it's like, okay, so we're in this realm of separation, or duality, some like to call it. Although I have heard, update, we're now operating in quadrality. Just going to leave that there. And I started to think about this concept, like we're all one consciousness, right? And I was sitting with it like, we are just all love. And then I open up Instagram and the first post says like, we are not one. And then I read it. And now, so what I've been contemplating is like these two camps, right, of like love, unity, consciousness, like new age spirituality. And then you've also got this like fight back from that, like it's a psyop. They want you to think there's all one, so you don't, so you accept the evil. We're in spiritual warfare, blah, 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 fight, you know? And I've sat in both camps. This one I found it a bit, I don't know, I think I'm a bit too gritty for that. And this one I was in, like when the pandemic hit, I went deep down into the forces that be. And I had to grieve a lot over here. I had to really, really grieve and let go. Like, I mean, just my whole concept of like how the world operates changed. And I got very sad about it and processed a lot of grief for a couple of years. And I don't think anything is evil per se. I think that's quite a human understanding of what's happening. I do think there are forces on this planet that don't have the best interest of like all of us. I think, to me, it feels obvious, but I don't think it's evil per se. I just think it's a survival mechanism of this force, of this energy. Almost like a parasite, right? The parasite isn't evil. It needs the life force of another to survive. You could call that evil if you wanted to, or you could just call it like a survival mechanism. For me, it's not. This force doesn't share the same emotion as humans. But as you can tell, I'm not completely clear on it, and I don't really want to even go down that avenue. Okay, if you think I'm crazy, I am. So I've been in both camps, and I've just decided, like, and Adi Ashanti said this in the video. He's like, people like to philosophize: is there free will? Is there not free will? And he's like, does it matter? Does it matter? Is it really important that we're like, so this is the answer, which means that is not the answer? And I just think it's all about time and place and what lens, you know? So like he was saying about the free will, like, you know, maybe in the grand scheme of things, there is no free will and we're just playing out a part. But then it does feel like you choose your breakfast in the morning. But then even further you can go, but where is the chooser between the thought? It just appears and we witness it. Whatever. He's right. I think there is a time and a place for every concept and every understanding. And it's not about making the other one wrong. So if you're love, light, unity, and you're like, there should be no duality, that's what you need right now. That's your bid for love. And if you're like, no, there's spiritual warfare, we must, that's what you need, right? That's your position towards love. Everyone's positioning towards love, consciously or not. Now, unconsciously, it's a bit inverted and it's a bit twisted. But again, it's only how people have learned. It's only the programs they're running on. It's not personal. No one's really to blame. And how do we even take credit for having an awareness, a higher awareness? Like, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm just decided that I need to hold my opinions much, much lighter. And if you've been following me and you've been keeping up to date with my story, by the way, thank you very much for hanging out with me during that, because I've been lost in Jessie's story these months. Totally lost. Swimming around. Splashing around. And that's okay. I honour Jessie. I do. She's going to die one day, aren't we all? So I've been splashing around, and so I've shared about, like, I've been having this like this eruption in one of my friendships, and because I was holding a judgment so tightly that it was interfering with the love between us. And I've just decided to for me right now where I'm at, because when I was speaking to my friend about this, like, she was like, that does not work for me right now. And it's like, cool, you know, we all honor where you are and what you need, what's going to serve you best now. So I'm always very like, yes, no, and now I think my practice is going to just be maybe. And I'm going to share the Zen fable. I think it's a fable, which you may have heard before, but I'll repeat it, and I'm probably going to butcher it, and I'm going to give a short version. But just in case you haven't heard it. So there's a man, and he has a horse. And one day the horse runs away. And his neighbours come round, and they're like, oh, bloody hell, that's terrible. And he goes, maybe. Anyway, the next day, the horse comes back, and it's brought a whole pack of 12 wild horses with it. And his neighbours come around, and they're like, that's amazing, you got 12 horses. And he's like, maybe. Anyway, next day, his son is training one of the horses, and he falls off and breaks his leg. And the neighbours are like, they come around again, and they're like, bloody hell, that is awful. And he goes, maybe. And then the country breaks out into war. And the army officials are going around all of the villages. Pray for those who are literally going through that right now. And they can't recruit his son because of his broken leg. And the villagers come around and they go, that's brilliant, thank God for that. And he goes, maybe. And so on and so on. And I love it. I'm gonna, see me holding stuff. Man, I like to hold stuff. It's so beautiful because you're like surrendering control. Like, we don't know. We like to think that like, my mind loves to perceive something as good or bad, or yes, this is right and this is wrong. Maybe just wait and see. Just wait and see. You don't know. And I love that. Relinquishing a bit of control, or even like the arrogance of thinking that I get it. You know, I've seen how I've behaved the last few months. I don't know what I'm bloody doing. In some aspects I do, in others, But we all have our vulnerabilities, right? We all have our pockets of learnings, and yeah, so I'm okay with it. So I'm just going with the maybe, guys. The maybes. Now, was there anything else? Oh yeah, dynamics in relationships are a dance of Duality. We orbit around each other, hoping to find truth and unity. Narcissism and codependency encourage one another. Yeah, because I do have a vulnerability to narcissistic traits in partners. Or flip it, I've also been the codependent one as well. It depends on the day. I like dancing in both camps. But what I was really thinking about it, not just for my own situations, but also my friends and my family. It's like the codependent person is just basically saying, like, they just give and they give and they give, right? To say, like, look, I deserve love. Look how much I'm giving. I deserve love for that. And the narcissist just takes, is a bid for love. It's like, yeah, I need this love. I need love. I need control. That's how they've learned to find security and control, right? We live in a very narcissistic society. It's no wonder we all have narcissistic traits, all right? We do. Examine it, look at it. Don't shy away. I'm getting a no in the body, so I'm going to shut up. Anyway, that was nice because it's like, I guess it just brought me back to, like, we're all trying to find love. And okay, if we're conscious about it, we can be more mindful and more loving to ourselves and go inwards. But if we're unconscious, like, everyone's still just trying to get their needs met in the way that they were taught. And I think I'm repeating myself now, but hammering the point home, I guess. These are all my insights, and yeah, I don't know, perhaps they're beneficial, perhaps not, eh? So, okay, we're on the maybe bit. Oh yeah, and so I will finish with this one, I think, which is one of the kindest acts that I have received in my life. I was at a retreat, and we're having a temescal, which is like, it's like a spiritual sauna. It's an ancient tradition where you get into the temescal and you sweat and you purify and you cleanse and you pray. And when I was doing this, I was in a limited state of consciousness, more limited than now. And the guy who was running it was furious with me. Absolutely furious. And that triggered me into, like, child mode. Like, I was still in this, like, dynamic of, like, being needing to be punished or expecting to be punished, whatever. Anyway, it was a dance. And there was someone else in there, so I was feeling, like, very, very unwelcome in this tiny, dark space, pretty much naked, sweating, feeling extremely vulnerable. And there was another young woman in there, and she said out loud, she was like, I love and I pray for limited consciousness to awaken, and it's okay if it doesn't. And I felt it deep in my bones, where it was like, she has made me feel welcome regardless of my level of awareness or state of consciousness. Like, it was like, I love you, I pray for you, for freedom, for liberation, and you're welcome regardless. And it stayed in my heart ever since, and thank you for that love and that compassion. And this is what I want to adopt now and cultivate more in me, for myself and for others, of, like, really honouring where everyone's at, not blaming, not expecting more. Like, I have to be much more patient with myself and with others, and that's my practice at the moment, maybe. Love is so quiet, love is so gentle, it doesn't push, and it awaits. I got a wonderful question from a student this last week. She asked me, what's the difference between wait and await? And I've never been asked that question before, and I've never even really thought about it. And at first it was like, well, await is more formal, like we use it in an email, I await your reply. And then I went to Google, and it said, wait is when you expect something to happen, like you wait for the bus, you're expecting the bus to arrive. Await is when you hope something will happen. You're not expecting it to, but you just hope that it will. And that's so beautiful. I love that. And so rather than waiting for things, I'm going to await certain things in my life and not expect them per se, but just hope and enjoy myself in the meantime. You know? Can you love that too? That was the last thing I wrote in the book. Can you love that too? This is like my question at the moment, and I'm going to hold, of anything that I find I have resistance towards, like behaviours and other people. Can I love that too? And I'm not asking myself that question to be like, because you should love it. Like, so can you? No, it's like, it's just a genuine question to reflect where I'm at. Can I love that too? Yes, I can. No, I can't. Okay. Can you love that too? Oh, I like it. Anyway, guys, long one today. So if you liked the video, please like it. Thank you very much. If you didn't like the video, don't like it. Is there thumbs down? Maybe don't give me a thumbs down. Maybe do if you really didn't like it. But if you're neutral about it, leave it. I'm going to stop telling you what to do. Let me know down below anything that came up for you. I really, really appreciate feedback. Like, I like to hear your guys' thoughts and your take on things, because it just adds to my truth, and we can all do that for each other. It's nice. And if you like the video and you like me and you see where this is going, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Much, much love, guys. Have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you soon.